Stop everything you're doing, because this is not just a headline. This is a plot twist straight out of a Netflix crime thriller. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, the trap legend who once rapped about rubber bands and street hustling, has now been caught doing something no one ever expected, begging gang members to spare his son King Harris's life after a jailhouse run-in went horribly wrong. Yes, you heard that right? The same T.I. who built his image on toughness, who went toe-to-toe with the law, who walked around like Atlanta's unofficial mayor, was allegedly on his knees, pleading for mercy like a contestant on American Idol. And the internet, oh, they are eating this up like Thanksgiving dinner with extra gravy. Imagine the scene: King Harris, fresh in jail, mouthing off to the wrong crew like he's invincible, and suddenly realizing the Harris name doesn't protect you behind bars. Next thing you know, whispers start spreading, gang members are plotting, king's in deep, and T.I. has to step in with the most humiliating role of his career. Dad begging for his son's survival. Forget rap beefs. Forget industry feuds. This scandal just rewrote the definition of family drama. And trust me, the fallout is nastier than you can imagine. The Harris name was built on trap anthems, family reality shows, and an image of success polished shinier than a Grammy trophy. But when word leaked that King Harris, T.I.'s son, mouthed off to the wrong crew behind bars and suddenly found himself in real danger, that polished image cracked faster than a dollar store iPhone screen. Because this wasn't rap beef. This wasn't reality TV. This was jail. And in jail, your daddy's platinum records don't buy you protection. Respect does. And King Harris, let's just say respect wasn't exactly part of his starter kit. Reports started swirling that King, in typical King fashion, couldn't keep his mouth shut. The same cockiness he flaunts on Instagram Lives and in viral interviews apparently didn't vanish once those cell doors clanged shut. Word is he ran his mouth to a set of seasoned gang members like he was on stage at the BET Awards. But unlike social media, there's no block button in jail. One wrong word turned into a storm of tension. And suddenly whispers spread that King Harris had crossed a line even his last name couldn't protect him. From that's when the narrative shifted from celebrity kid in jail to celebrity dad on defense, allegedly. T.I. himself had to step in, reaching out behind the scenes, pleading with gang members to leave his son alone. Yes, T.I., the same man who once declared himself the king of the South, the trap general, the hustler turned mogul, was now reduced to begging. You could practically hear the internet's laughter echoing through Atlanta. Fans joked, I went from bring M out to please don't take him out. And let's be real, King Harris has been asking for this kind of smoke for years. Remember his infamous rants where he claimed he wasn't raised soft? Or that wild viral Waffle House showdown where he puffed his chest out like a rooster in a boxing match? He painted himself as a gangster in training, desperate to prove he wasn't just daddy's spoiled kid. Except the thing about wolves: if you bark like one, eventually a real pack shows up to test you. And King, he flunked the test faster than a kid guessing on the SATs. The first leaked details about the jail run-in hit gossip blogs like a tsunami. One headline screamed, King Harris in gang crosshairs after jail dust-up. Another claimed, T.I. forced to intervene for son's survival. Suddenly, what could have stayed as whispers inside four walls became public spectacle. And once the internet got its hands on it, oh, it was over. Todd fans had a field day. Twitter timelines were stacked with comments like, bro thought he was about that life until the life was about him. Another viral post read, imagine rapping about rubber bands your whole life just to beg a gang not to snap your son like one. The roast sessions were merciless. Memes showed T.I. in a suit, pleading with a jury with the caption, ladies and gentlemen, I beg you, spare my boy. But not everyone laughed. Some fans pointed out how dangerous this really was. In the real world, gangs don't play games, and prison politics are deadlier than rap beefs. This wasn't just a humiliation story. This was survival. If the whispers were true, T.I. had no choice but to swallow his pride and step into the most vulnerable role of his life. Father first. Rapper second, of course. King's critics weren't buying the sympathy card. They reminded everyone that this was the same kid who went viral for clowning his own parents. The same kid who sneered at the idea of living in comfort. The same kid who claimed he was built for the streets. One fan dragged him online with the brutal line, "Built for the streets. The streets built a coffin, not a career." That one racked up tens of thousands of likes because, well, truth hurts. The Harris family, meanwhile, stayed mostly silent. But their silence only made the rumors louder. Tiny allegedly dropped a vague Instagram story, a prayer hands emoji, and nothing else. The blogs pounced. Tiny prays as King faces gang tensions in jail. Emojis turned into evidence. Captions became clues. The internet turned into CSI Harris Edition, with every post dissected like a crime scene. And the funniest, yet saddest part: King Harris himself wasn't even the one trending anymore. The spotlight shifted to T.I., the rap veteran suddenly rebranded as Begging Dad. For decades, T.I. was respected as one of the sharpest lyricists, a man who turned street tales into platinum records. Now the jokes wrote themselves, from trap music to begging music. Fans said he was recording a new track titled "Please Don't Touch My Son Remix." As the story spread, it got messier. Bloggers claimed that negotiations were happening behind the scenes. Some even alleged that T.I. had to call in favors, reaching out to OGs and respected figures to smooth things over. Imagine being the king of the South, a man who once intimidated rivals with his mere presence, now forced to play diplomat because your son couldn't keep his mouth shut for 5 minutes. The irony was painful. T.I. spent years trying to guide his son away from trouble, warning him about the dangers of pretending to be something he wasn't. But King, addicted to clout, ignored every red flag. Now the same clout that boosted him on social media had dragged him into a real-life nightmare. And T.I., who once bragged about never bowing to anyone, found himself bowing to the very people he built his reputation outrunning. And of course, the memes continued. One viral TikTok showed T.I. edited into a courtroom scene, begging like a defense lawyer, while King sat in an orange jumpsuit doodling. The caption: "Your Honor, my son is stupid, but please spare him." Another clip mashed up T.I.'s old hit, "Whatever You Like," with a voiceover. Gang members, you can have whatever you like. Just leave King alone. The internet's creativity knows no mercy by the end of the week. The story had fully escaped the walls of the jail and turned into a mainstream spectacle. Fans didn't just want to know if King was safe. They wanted to know how far T.I. was willing to go. Was he really begging? Was money changing hands? Or was this all a massive exaggeration blown up by gossip blogs? The truth didn't matter anymore. The narrative was set. T.I., the once fearless king of the South, humbled to his knees, begging for mercy to save his son. And here's the twisted part. For the internet, it was pure entertainment. For the Harris family, it was survival. That's the ugly beauty of scandal. The more tragic it is for the people involved, the more viral it becomes for the people watching. And in this case, King Harris' run-in with gang members wasn't just a family nightmare. It was the internet's latest guilty pleasure. If you thought the first wave of T.I. begging memes was brutal, the second wave made it look like child's play. The internet smelled blood, and once that happens, it doesn't stop until the body's unrecognizable. By sunrise, hashtags like #PrayForKing, #Begging for the South, and #THumbled were trending globally. King Harris wasn't just in trouble. It was a punchline in every group chat from Atlanta to Abu Dhabi. The celebrity peanut gallery wasted no time jumping in. Charlemagne the God roasted T.I. on The Breakfast Club, saying Tip spent his whole career being the king of the South. And now he's the Duke of Desperation. The soundbite went viral instantly. 50 Cent, the undisputed heavyweight champion of petty, liked a meme showing T.I. holding a begging bowl with the caption, "From trap music to please music." When 50 cosigns a roast, it's over. Your humiliation is officially immortalized. Even rappers with no business in the drama joined the circus. Soulja Boy, who never met a cloud chase he didn't like, tweeted, "First rapper to never beg a gang. Y'all know what it is? Big Draco." Fans immediately dunked on him, but still, his name got dragged into the mix. Boosie allegedly went live to laugh about it, saying, "Man, King talk like he hard, but even his daddy begging now. That boy better learn quick." Savage doesn't even cover it. Meanwhile, fans split into 3 messy camps. Camp 1, the sympathizers, who said, "He's still a kid. T.I. is just being a dad. Y'all too harsh." Camp 2, the comedians, who treated this like open mic night at the Apollo, dropping lines like "gangsters don't do family discounts." And Camp 3, the conspiracy theorists, who swore this entire scandal was a stunt to push King's rap career. One viral tweet summed it up. "Ain't no way this ain't PR. Next week, he gon' drop a mixtape called Begging Season. And let's talk about the memes. The creativity was ruthless. One edit showed King Harris photoshopped into a video game loading screen with the words "difficulty, jail mode." Another had T.I.'s face pasted onto the famous crying Jordan meme. Except he was holding a phone with the caption, "Please, just spare him." TikTok creators acted out skits of T.I. calling gang leaders, saying things like, "He didn't mean it, he just loud like his mama." Within hours, those skits were hitting millions of views. Then came the music. Producers on TikTok turned T.I.'s alleged begging lines into trap beats. One remix used the phrase, "Please don't touch my son," as the hook, layered over heavy bass, and it became a dance challenge overnight. Teenagers were body rolling to T.I.'s humiliation. Imagine being roasted so badly your pain becomes a viral TikTok dance. That's the internet in 22.5. As the scandal snowballed, the blogs went feral. Shade Room, TMZ, Hollywood Unlocked, all of them pushed new updates every hour. One blog claimed T.I. paid off certain gang members to keep King safe. Another said OGs in Atlanta had to step in to mediate. Whether true or not, the details didn't matter. Every rumor was another headline, another viral post, another reason for fans to refresh their feeds. The Harris family's silence only made things worse. T.I. refused to directly address the scandal, which made fans dig deeper. Tiny's cryptic emoji posts fueled theories. King's absence from social media was treated as confirmation that he was laying low. When silence meets chaos, chaos always wins. And then came the public outrage. Parents across the internet chimed in, debating whether T.I. failed as a father. One Facebook rant went viral, saying, "This is what happens when you raise kids in luxury, but let them play gangster." Others clapped back, saying, "At least T.I. is trying to save his son." Y'all laugh now? But any parent would do the same. The debate wasn't just about T.I. anymore. It was about parenting privilege and what happens when clout culture crashes into real life. But the darkest twist was how King himself became the internet's favorite cautionary tale. Old clips resurfaced where he bragged about being tougher than his dad, where he flexed about street life, where he dismissed people who called him spoiled. Fans reposted those clips with captions like, "Talked tough, now daddy talks for you." The irony was so sharp it cut deeper than the memes. Even King's rap peers weren't kind. Underground rappers dropped diss tracks calling him Beggar Boy Harris. One bar went viral, "Daddy's king of the South, but you the jester of jail." It was cruel, but fans streamed it anyway. Because when humiliation turns into music, the internet treats it as content, not tragedy. And the more it spread, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about King Harris anymore. This was about T.I.'s entire legacy. For decades, he built himself as a trap legend, a hustler, a man who never bowed to anyone. But now the narrative had flipped. Fans saw him as a humbled father, begging behind closed doors to save his son. The King of the South crown suddenly felt like it had slipped. By the end of week 1, the scandal had gone beyond hip-hop. Morning news shows covered it. Tabloids slapped T.I.'s face on covers. And podcasts debated it like it was a political crisis. Was this the downfall of T.I.'s image? Was this the moment King Harris finally learned humility? Or was this all another episode of celebrity kids failing upward while their famous parents cleaned up the mess? Whatever the answer, the internet didn't care. They just wanted more chaos, more leaks, more memes. And as whispers grew louder about what really happened behind those jail walls, fans realized the worst might not even be over yet. Because, in jail, problems don't just vanish, they wait. And King Harris still had a lot of waiting to do. The question wasn't whether T.I. begged. The question was whether begging would even be enough. The begging may have worked in the moment. But the aftermath. It was scorched earth. The Harris name wasn't just dragged, it was buried, dug up, and roasted again for the algorithm. This wasn't just a jailhouse scare. It became a cultural reset, a moment where T.I.'s carefully polished legacy cracked wide open. And King Harris was forever cemented as the poster child for a clout gone wrong. First, let's talk T.I. His reputation as the fearless king of the South took the nastiest hit of his career. For years, he was the man who never backed down, the trap legend who went bar for bar with giants, who made it out of the streets and onto the Forbes list. But in the court of public opinion, he wasn't a hustler anymore. He was a humbled father begging for mercy. One meme summed it up perfectly. From Rubber Band Man to Please Don't Hurt My Man. Fans reposted it thousands of times, laughing while T.I.'s image unraveled in real time. Every interview he'd ever given about strength, loyalty, or standing tall resurfaced, now flipped against him. When he once said, "Ain't nobody ever pressed me." Fans clipped it next to the begging rumors, writing, "Nobody except the gang pressing your son." The humiliation wasn't temporary. It was tattooed into his legacy. Then there was King. If his clout-chasing antics had made him a meme before, now he was an internet cautionary tale. He wasn't just the spoiled kid talking tough. It was the spoiled kid who talked tough, got checked, and had to be bailed out by his dad's begging. Every clip of him flexing about his street cred came back to haunt him. Fans dragged him mercilessly. King Harris went from gangster to grounded in one jail visit. And the music. Forget it. If King ever hoped to be taken seriously as a rapper, those hopes evaporated. Every lyric he spits will now be heard through the filter of this scandal. Even if he raps about luxury, people will hear begging. If he raps about the streets, people will laugh. The streets already gave their verdict, and it wasn't a cosign. It was a meme. The Harris family's silence only fueled the fire. Tiny tried to play the supportive mom role, posting vague captions about prayer, but fans clowned that too. One tweet mocked, "She praying while her son learning humility the hard way." His siblings' cryptic emojis kept turning into headlines. Even Zanique, who tried to keep her distance, got dragged in. Suddenly, the entire Harris family was content, whether they liked it or not. And then came the ripple effects in the industry. Other rappers' kids became targets, with fans joking, "Y'all better stay quiet," or "Your dad gone, be next on Begging Express." Hip-hop podcasts debated if this was the death of gangster parenting. Could rappers still brag about toughness when their kids were getting pressed? YouTube commentators cashed in big, dropping hour-long breakdowns with titles like T.I. exposed as soft. The gang truth about King Harris. This was content gold. But the deepest blow wasn't public. It was personal. Sources whispered that T.I. and King's relationship hit a new low. Imagine being a dad who begged for your son's safety, only to watch that son clown around again days later, acting like nothing happened. The disrespect cut deeper than the memes. For T.I., the begging might have saved King's body, but it couldn't save his pride. Meanwhile, gangs in Atlanta allegedly began mocking the Harris name, saying clout doesn't buy respect. In the street world, once you're labeled as someone who begged, that stain doesn't wash out. T.I. may have saved his son's skin, but the price was permanent. Credibility gone. And yet the internet couldn't look away. Because scandals like this aren't just entertainment. Their morality plays cautionary tales, guilty pleasures. Fans saw their own lives reflected in exaggerated form. Parents cleaning up kids' messes, kids chasing clout without consequences, family reputations crumbling under the weight of social media. I wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a symbol of every parent who had to bail out their kid from the trouble their mouth created. But here's the kicker. This story isn't finished. It can't be. Because King Harris is too addicted to chaos, too in love with the spotlight, to quietly fade into the background. You know, he'll hop back on Instagram Live smirking, acting like nothing happened, daring people to roast him again. And when he does, the gangs will remember. The internet will remember. And the cycle will reload like a broken record. For T.I., the real nightmare is knowing this won't be the last time he has to step in. Today, it's begging. Tomorrow, it could be worse. And the world will be right there watching, refreshing, laughing, and debating as the Harris family's private pain turns into public entertainment. That the question isn't if another scandal is coming, it's when. Because in the world of hip-hop, the streets don't forgive, the internet never forgets, and clout will kill you faster than any gang ever could. And that's the circus. T.I. went from rap king to desperate dad. King Harris went from clout chaser to cautionary tale and the internet. Well, it went from shocked gasps to full-blown roast sessions faster than you can say Rubber Band Man. This wasn't just a story, it was a demolition. A family's pride, a rapper's legacy, and a kid's reputation all got dragged through the mud, gift-trapped, and delivered straight to your timeline. But let's not pretend this is over. Oh no, if history has taught us anything, it's that King Harris can't stay away from chaos for long. Today, it's jailhouse begging. Tomorrow, it'll be another viral meltdown. And the day after that? Who knows, maybe a diss track, maybe another mugshot, maybe T.I. begging again, but with background music this time. The sequel writes itself. The sequel writes itself. So here's what you do. Smash that like button like you're stomping on King's fake street cred. Drop a comment. Are you Team T.I. for protecting his son? Or Team Internet for handing out memes like funeral programs? And don't just lurk. Hit subscribe, because the scandals don't stop here. They reload daily. This channel doesn't do weak tea. We serve boiling lava straight from the scandal volcano. And if you blink, you'll miss the next explosion. Stay tapped in, because tomorrow's disaster makes today's look like a warm-up. You've been tuned in to Expose Express, where the truth is messy, the commentary is savage, and the drama always louder than the music.